Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 4 of Behind the Brush Podcast.
I'm Sofia.
I'm Paiton,
and we are your hosts. So last episode we got into the topic of the preservation of nail techs and how that leads to like a disjointed nail tech community and ways to combat it, things that you can do to like contribute it positively, and you can check out that episode on our channel. Link will be down below. And let us know what you do to connect with your nail tech community.
Yes. Now, happy Halloween, guys! Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's Halloween.
I hope you all have your spooky sets on, did some cool costumes. I feel like this is a lot of people's favorite holiday for some reason.
I feel like it just allows you to like be obsessed with like your favorite like movie. Like really, like you can just like finally have that chance to like
dress up as them.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the candy. I don't care how old you get.
Yeah.
I will always be in for the sales of the candy.
I go trick-or-treating with a bucket and I go up to the door and they be looking at me like, am I supposed to give you candy? I say, yes. You are. I'm wearing a costume, right? That's like the only requirement.
Exactly. I have my costume, I got my bucket, fill it with candy.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, do you sometimes feel like you've accomplished everything that you wanted to do, or you've hit like a lot of goals, but you still have like that feeling in like the back of your mind that like you want to do more, like you're like striving to do more?
Yeah. So like now, I guess you would want to know, how do we continue to be our best self? How do we, stay on top of our game?
Mm-hmm.
Because, we want to get better even when we feel stuck.
Right.
And we don't want to just keep, feeling down and then we're not getting anywhere.
Right.
So if you want to find out how to do that, grab your little Halloween drinky and keep watching. Roll the intro.
So before we dive a little bit deeper into today's topic of like your sense of self, we're going to do our nails of the week, of course. And I think that Curlic Berry should go first.
Yeah, we got some competition Halloween nails, okay?
They're touching you through the screen.
Literally. If you got 3D glasses, you should put them on. But we got, each finger is a different anime, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And these are focused mainly on 3D design. So this is all made with 3D or the 5D gel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we got eyeballs, we got distorted faces, we got hands.
I like the faces one the best.
The faces one?
It gives more creepy.
Word.
Like
I
the
think
mask just got peeled off.
Oh, yeah.
Like a melting face.
I think this one's my favorite just because it's like a hand with a mouth in it. Yeah. And then an eyeball. And then like a little like creature at the end of it.
It's you giving it purple nails for me.
I was like, you know what? You need to have nails too. So
even the ghouls got
exactly.
The
they gotta be fresh and laid, okay? Now,
I haven't even peeped. You're peeping right now.
I peeped just now. Girl, how are you surviving?
I'm hanging on by a thread.
Oh my god.
Hanging on by a thread.
Oh my god.
My lovely classmate at school did these gel nails for me.
She did a real good job, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we are constantly putting on and taking off and putting on and taking off. So I can't have like my set on. So we're just constantly practicing. So this is just what I get, and this is probably what's gonna be for the rest of the season. Wah, wah, wah.
But at least she got some Jack Skelly on the head.
I think I picked black because I was like, A, cover that shit up, and B,
cover that shit up.
I feel like it's going with like Halloween vibes. I feel very like with my black nails.
Yes, because I feel like it just ties into everything.
Exactly.
It does.
So now that we did our nails of the week, if you guys want to share with us your nails of the week, tag us on our Instagram at Behind the Brush Podcast.
Yes. So, what is this feeling of feeling stuck that we're talking about?
Right.
We both have been in this business industry for a while, and like 4 years each, that we can both kind of talk about how you change so much over time.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that natural like that feeling stuff will be like natural. You're not always going to be like hustle bustling all of the time. And so when you do come across that feeling is like a really good like crossroads to be able to decide like where you want to go next, is pretty much kind of how I look at it then. It's time to shake stuff up if you feel like you're just kind of doing the same old thing, right? You're kind of just like stuck doing the same thing. It's just time to shake it up is basically all that means to me.
Like sometimes I feel like now where I am in my career, I definitely feel sometimes that I'm at a standstill because there comes a point in time where you feel like you're doing the same things over and over again. And sometimes it's not the fault of the client because they just like a certain style. And then you're kind of thinking like, wow, maybe I need to branch out, find like clients that are kind of things that I want to try. And sometimes when you can't find those clients, you end up finding yourself stuck because it's like I only can do a certain kind of style on clients unless they're, you know, adventurous one day, and it's like, okay, do
just
what you want.
All of a sudden want to change it.
Right. So, you know, like I know what direction I want to go in, but then everything from like the actual me doing everything else everybody else wants, I feel I start to get burnt out.
Right.
And then once the burnout hits, I don't get to practice what I really want to practice. Because it's like, I don't want to sit in my nail room. I don't want to think about nails. I just want to, you know, decompress. And I feel like that's where that feeling of feeling stuck, because you don't have time to go practice what you want. Everybody's getting like the same kind of things over and over again. So you're kind of just blah.
Right.
Like you're not really
doing anything else, doing anything different. You're just getting stuck in like the loop. And we talk a lot about like finding your niche, and I think it can kind of play both ways, because you could niche too hard and you're all of a sudden doing glam nails all the time and only that, and maybe you feel like you do want to change it, like, right, like maybe you thought that was your niche,
it, or like you think like I need to do something else,
right? Like you niche too hard and now you're really feeling repetitive, or you're doing so much of stuff you don't really want to do, which is what you were getting at, and now you're not really being fulfilled by what you're doing because you haven't found your niche yet, for example. So how do we keep getting better when like you finally kind of accept that like maybe you need to change something? So the first thing that we're going to talk about really is like if what you're doing is still working, and how to know when to change something and like what to change, for example. Because there's a natural progression of like your career, especially in the beginning of doing anything, obviously, where you're like grinding, and like grind culture is like
I gotta get it and I gotta get it now. So
yeah, and if you're not
like no days off, I'm working, I'm doing this, and you kind of forget about the passion aspect, because it's like I need to gain clientele. I need to make sure like I know how to do the basics: French tip, ombre, marble, like basic nail art designs, just the basics. And then you focus on that so hard that it's like you forget about why you actually started it, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. And I also feel like if you find yourself hustling and grinding too much, especially I think after maybe year 2 or so, where you feel like a lot more confident in what you're doing, and you've got a little bit more of like a hang of it, and you've got like some like good client rollout going on, if you're still feeling like you're grinding on getting like that flow right, that could be a sign of like, okay, you need to start adding in some new systems going on to help you, because you should be maybe like a little bit more like along in like your client retention, right? That it doesn't feel like you're constantly trying to find clients all the time.
Right.
So those are the things that you have to look out for, where it's like, okay, I've been doing this X amount of time and I still don't feel like you're like improving. So that's again like time to change it.
Yeah. Also, like you said, like the client retention. If you feel like you're getting more new clients than actual like repeat clients, there's something you have to change in your dynamic that allows people to want to stay.
Yeah.
Because if they keep leaving, and then you have to like, you're making more work for yourself, because at the end of the day, you still have to go out and find new clients.
Yeah.
Because those repeat clients have now gone and moved on.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's times where, you know, you have the occasional, like, nail tech jumper.
Yeah.
And, like, that's gonna happen. But you don't want every single client of yours to be a nail tech jumper.
Right.
Because then that's when you get, you know, down like, oh, people's not coming back to me. Maybe my work's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be the case that your work is bad. It could be, you know, your environment isn't what they expect, or
right.
maybe it's just something that needs to change.
Right. And I think too, like, over time, you have to be aware, you have to have that, like, self-awareness to say, like, okay, what does my space look like?
Mm-hmm.
Do I feel comfortable in this space? What's something that I feel like that's been bothering me about this space? Do you find it to be overly hot? Do you find it to be overly cold? Those slight things that you notice are those things that change, that will lead to something being different, right? Because if you find that again, like, your actual space environment is, for example, let's say too small. I feel like that's like a common issue, perhaps. Like, you're working out of home, or even if you're working in a salon and you're only renting a booth,
like a small
table, you know, you can brainstorm some ideas of how can you improve, like, your client experience in your small space. Should you have this humongous desk in there that's taking up half the space? Probably not. Can you sacrifice the big desk for a small desk and get bigger chairs? Right? It's those slight things that will make a big difference when you add them all together that you should be, like, considering and taking note of and things like that.
Right. And sometimes it's not even, like, just client retention. Sometimes it's also, like, you may feel like you need, like I said earlier, you're doing a certain set of design on nails all the time.
Yeah.
And you want to switch it up. Now you're telling yourself, okay, I'm seeing too much of this on my page. That means you don't have much things to post because you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
When that happens, if you want to switch it up and attract clients that, you know, are more in tune to what you want to do, start posting what you want to do.
Right.
Make the little videos of you practicing certain designs or certain, like, 3D arts that you want to do. And that will attract the clients that you want to work on. So
yeah. And that's definitely a good segment into, like, our second main point, which is going to be, like, how to sharpen your skills. Because at the end of the day, that's what people are going to you for, is your skill level and what you're able to do. And like you said, if you're all the time just posting French nails and you don't want to do that, those are the only kind of clients that you're going to get, because that's all that they're seeing. Exactly. You have to show them something different. So we're going to be going over, like, 3 main ways to do this, and hopefully, like, it can help you analyze what you're doing in a different way and see if any of these things could apply to you. So one of the main things is to get feedback from your pre-existing clients already. So we're going to explain a little bit why we think this is helpful and what it can provide to you.
So definitely, I think getting feedback from your clients can obviously tell you how, you know, their experiences with your services.
Yeah.
They can, you know, let you know, hey, you know, when I was there, it was a little cold, or like the seat was kind of uncomfortable, but overall the services was good. Tiny little tidbits that prompt you to say, okay, they didn't like the chair, it was too cold.
Right.
Get a portable heater, get a better chair.
Yeah.
So that when they come back the next time, they're like, oh, she listened to me.
Yeah.
So they feel heard. And then on top of that, it's like
their experience is better, of course. So definitely client experience goes a lot into client retention, as well as, of course, asking, like, frequently checking up on your clients and how their nail retention is going. Yeah. You can't be shy to text people, how are your nails doing? You know, if you know one of your clients was getting vacation nails and she's traveling, hit her up a couple days after she gets back and
be like, hey,
ask how it's going. Okay, you can't just be zooming in on the IG stories all the time. You should ask, because at the end of the day, that's good for you to know. And in the instance where something went wrong or there was something that could have been improved on, that could be your responsibility to address that with them, and then boom, you got better client retention. Because again, why? She asked me, she heard me, she listened to me, and then offered a solution.
Right.
Instead of just feeling down that, she had some lifting or her nail cracked or there was like peeling, right? You can't get down on that. Just go try to find a solution to that, and that will weigh more than whatever bad thing happened at the end of the day.
Because a lot of the times, even recently, I've seen a lot of beginner texts on Facebook. They'd be like, oh, you know, a client messaged me saying like her nails broke off, and their first immediate response is that I think she broke them off, or I think she pulled them off.
Right.
That can't be your mindset if you want to really, you know, retain these clients. Like, yes, you can be like, you can look at their nails and tell, but you don't want that to be your first initial reaction or your first initial thought, because then you're going to go into it with a negative mindset.
Yes.
And you're kind of going to
always...
Like
that interaction.
Right, and you always be on the defensive.
Yeah.
So when you're communicating with them, they'll feel like you're kind of attacking them, and that won't do well with your business.
Right, you can't have like the my nails were perfect thing, or like there couldn't be nothing wrong with the nails, because at the end of the day you did the nails, so you have to take responsibility for that no matter what.
Exactly.
And then also I want to highlight how client feedback can be negative, but it can be positive. So any, I think, considerate person, if they were to tell you something negative, they would also tell you something positive. So try to like, you know, do like listen well, and like to those things that people say. They were like, you know, I really like the way the colors that you had, or something like that, or like I really like that base color. For when clients come back, they can say, like, I really like that base that we did the last time. So you know in your head, okay, maybe 3 of my clients already told me this is one that I'm going to keep, and this is one that I'll keep buying, and this was one that I will like show on my IG stories, because a lot of my clients like this one, and that's something that's going to help you improve, right? Having colors that people like and that you know work well for you. It's those things that you have to keep in mind. You've really got to pay attention to all those little things.
Yeah, and I feel like it's very good to know your clients. You need to know, you know, what their go-to, like you said, their go-to base acrylic is. You need to know like what their favorite color is, or what their favorite design is. Like I have a client that comes in that only wants French. She don't like, so when she comes in, no questions asked. She just sits down, gets her nails done, and that's it. So when you know your clients and they don't really have to over exaggerate or over tell what exactly it is that they want every time they come in, that's also a plus for you, because they're like, oh, they know me so well.
Exactly. I feel like it just makes it easier from everybody. I have those clients too where they get very similar things every single time. I already know what we're doing, just making sure that we're doing what we're usually doing. And we're just chilling. It's actually more of a relaxing experience, because you're not trying to figure out every single little thing that you guys are doing. Which is also what the follow-up like texting will do for you, because then you're spending less time during your actual appointments doing like your consultation and like talking about what you're going to do, and you can just like jump right in, because you're like, okay, are we going to do everything that we already talked about? Is there anything you changed your mind about? If not, then we're good. And then it's just a lot more easy flowing, and that was easier from everybody because you went and checked and asked. Right.
Another thing would be setting goals. And actually making sure you achieve those goals. Don't just set the goal and then be like 3 weeks later, like,
oh, it didn't happen.
Right. You have to actually stick by what you set as your goals, so that you can actually feel accomplished when you accomplish your goals.
Right. And it's super important to baby step your way. Don't try to just like bite off more than you can chew. Maybe you can say like, okay, I want to have this amount of clients this month. You got to do that work of figuring out how you're going to get there. So do I need to do more follow-ups? Do I need to post more? Do I need to you know,
like just
show
things.
more things on my page, like for example, to help you do that. You can't just want something and just like expect it's just going to happen.
If you have to break out that practice hand, break out the practice hand. Like, no one's gonna shame you for using your practice hand. No one's gonna shame you for practicing nail designs, because at the end of the day, if your goal is to perfect your French, you better be perfecting your French. If you
Yeah.
set a number goal on how much French you want to finish by the end of the month,
Yeah.
you better get that goal, because that's the only way, because you can't blame like other people like, oh, I need clients to actually practice on.
Right.
You have other methods to practice with. It's just, it's not your preferred method, but at the end of the day, it's there, so use it.
I definitely agree that I feel like it's a misconception that you only can do nails on like people that are gonna pay you to do nails. You should ask your friends, you need to ask your family, get the doll hand out, do them on yourself. There are a lot of other ways to get that work out. When I first was starting, me and my best friend, I would do her nails all the time, and she was like my steady go-to like person to do nails on, because I could check in on her every 2 weeks and be like, okay,
like, how'd it hold up?
Right, how's it holding up? Oh, send me a picture. Let me try this next time. And I literally just have like a real life walking person to do it on, without the pressure of like, I'm doing this service for someone, what if it comes out bad, or I wanted to try out something that I haven't done. I don't want to do that on someone that's gonna pay me for the first time, you know what I mean?
And then like they hate it, and then they like trash you or something.
Exactly.
And like, if you don't have like a walking model like she does, buy a practice hand. I used to do, like, my husband got upset with, like, not upset, but he would be like, yo, that smell's getting to me, because I literally did it in the bedroom on the little mannequin hand, and I'm busting out like 10, 15 sets like this. Practice that application, practice your designs, and at the end of the day, once you get the feel for it on a practice hand, then you can like start on yourself, because then it'd be like, okay, I need to see how the drill feels. That's how I got comfortable with the drill. I did it on myself. Yeah. Because I'm like, if I know how it feels on myself, then maybe I'll be able to visualize how it feels on somebody else. Yeah. You know? So either find somebody that'll, you know, a sibling, a friend, somebody, you know, close to you that will let you practice, or get that mannequin, get to work.
Yeah, definitely. So also I think under the umbrella of like setting goals, I think being honest with yourself about what you want to achieve is also key to that. Because then that's going to determine everything you do going forward after that. I live my life by like staying organized to the max, so that way I can try to avoid like surprises and things. So if you're not checking your polishes like every once in a while, are they goopy, are they expired, or are you running low on black? Like, those are the things that are going to like set you up for success, and will also tell you if the things that you're doing are working or not still. I'm trying to think of like a couple more examples of like things that you can use to like measure like your progress, or if like something's working for you. If you just started using like a booking site, for example, okay, like you just started using a booking site, you can say, okay, in a month from now, I'm gonna see how the booking site is working for me, and what are 3 top things that you want to look for, you know, on that. Is everyone finding it easy to use? Is it easy to use on my end? And is it able to track
how much you make, how much like people come in a certain
month?
Right,
it will literally track like how frequently they come. Is that helpful to you? Okay, a month has passed. You do those checks. Do you feel like that there's something that you could benefit more from the booking site? Were people able to reschedule their appointments on there? Did you have a lot of people DMing you instead of going to the booking link? Those are the things that you have to see. And if it's not working, then you do something else. And if it is working, then you can keep it and just keep doing those checks as needed.
And that's where those reviews come in. Like, you have to, like she said, don't be scared. You have to ask people, like, hey, like after they book, hey, was the site easy to use? Was there anything difficult? Yeah. And you take what they say and you go fix it for the next month. Yeah. So that when they book again, they could be like, oh yeah, you know, last time it was really hard, but this time, like, it was easier. Yeah. So, like, it translates. And then back to when you said about the products. You need to put your products on a schedule. If you know it takes you 3 months to run out of a big jar of monomer, you need to put it on a schedule so that every 3 months, it'll just, like a subscription almost. It'll always come in on time, so that you're not running last minute like, oh no, I'm out of monomer, I need to go find a nail tech that I know to see if I can find one more.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a state like we are and there's no real nail supply stores, you're kind of screwed. And then you're going to have to switch around your clients, and that's very...
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with, because then they're going to feel like, oh, I booked for this day and this is the only day I had. So you kind of want to be 10 steps ahead.
Yes.
So that you're not fumbling, because that was definitely a problem for me. Like I would run out of monomer. Yeah. I'd run out of monomer and be like, oh my gosh, I need to go find somebody who has like a bottle of monomer to borrow, or like my primer spilled and I needed to get some more.
Exactly, and you're just like, and I understand that beginning struggle of like you not having so much like disposable income to buy those things, but then again, what is the give and take if you're not having that much money to buy these things and to have 2 bottles of monomer? What is something that you could probably think of to like combat that? However, you're splitting up your money,
right?
How much money are you putting away like to buy those things, right? You can't just be pocketing all this money,
right?
Is the size monomer that you're buying, if you're finding that you're running out like that a lot, I think it's time to buy the bigger size now. Like those are the things that you consider, not just I need to buy it more, I need to buy it more.
Right.
You need to buy a bigger one and put it on a schedule. Those are like the slight things that are going to make your life easier. Then when you finally do, you're like, oh wow, what have already been done by now, and I still have some. Exactly. I might run out by the weekend, and then I have time to get another one before I start doing my next clients for the week.
Right.
Most of us, I'm sure, like buy nail files in bulk.
Yeah.
And the ones I buy all come like individually, like wrapped up. I count them weekly, right? And you see, do I have enough for next week? And if I do, by the next week I probably won't have some, and then I know in another week and a half they need to get ordered. You always have to be just constantly like looking at things, keeping yourself like ahead of yourself as much as possible, because that's gonna like eliminate surprises.
And I think you mentioned something really important, that when you're making money, you can't just be like, oh yeah, all this money's for me. No, you have to put at least 50% of what you made back into your business, because the products you use, everything you've used, now you've taken a couple cents off of your acrylic, a couple cents off of your acetone, all of that. So half of what you make, you have to put it back into the business, because at the end of the day, you are a business. Yeah. Business owners, they don't just take all the money. They got to pay their employers. They got to pay for electricity, whatever the case may be. So you also have to be kind of financially responsible.
Yes, of course.
And make sure that you have enough. Like whenever you start making money, you need to make sure you have enough money in the business to keep it afloat.
Yeah, definitely. So
keep that in the back of your head when you're, getting clients and you need restocking stuff. You have to keep that in the back of your head.
Yeah. You just wanna, I think it's just always better when it feels like you're helping yourself. And I was just thinking, like, for example, like if you're renting somewhere and let's say you have a really good month and you have a little bit of like surplus money, let's say, and let's say you're already putting money in like a savings account or something like that, right? You're putting money where you feel like it should go, and you still, maybe let's say you have like $200 left over somehow, or like $150. What could you possibly do? Could you buy a couple new products that you wanted to try? Could you put 100 of that towards your next month's booth rent early, right? And then you're in this cycle of like, okay, I actually had like an extra 100, let me put that towards next month already, and that lessens however much of the percent I had to do for my next month's rent. And those things are the things that are going to be helping you in the long run, so you're not always feeling like you have to like,
oh, I need to scrape up some money because I might be behind.
Exactly. You never want to be in like that like kind of frantic situation, and I know that it happens. But and you can't always control everything, right? But you just don't want it to be like all the time. God forbid you have an accident, you can't work for like a week.
Right. You need to make sure you got something on the side to keep you afloat, or you have a slow month, like you said.
We just talked about that too.
You gotta pay monthly rent. Make sure you put that $100 in the savings just in case you have a slow month, and that $100 might come in handy.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of these things that we're talking about, we've definitely talked about in other episodes, but it's definitely just important when you're thinking of what standards you're keeping for yourself, right? How to be better for yourself, so that way you're kind of making true to like what you said you were gonna do and like how you were gonna do it. and helping yourself if you feel like you're struggling a little bit. And that's really what's going to help like in the long run.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So our third and final sort of like main aspect of this is going to be finding your niche, which is what we already also kind of talked about, and how this benefits you and how this can benefit your marketing, your client retention, and what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. So basically, like we said, if there's a certain kind of design you like doing, or there's a certain kind of clientele you want to reach,
yeah,
you need to start posting about that.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody's going to think everybody could do French tip, ombre, marble, and if they don't see that you're posting about, let's call them exotic designs.
Okay.
If they don't see you posting exotic designs, they're not going to think you can do it.
Yeah.
So they're not going to take the gamble to ask
Mm-hmm.
and be like, oh, can you do this?
Yeah.
They might ask and you might not have been practicing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you kind of lose out on the potential of
that
being
opportunity
able,
that you
right,
had.
to like, oh, I can actually do this and post it. So you want to be on top of your game, and you want to post what you want to do so you can attract the people that are in your target niche.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound too much like a corny motivational reel, but like closed mouth don't get fed. And if you want to be doing blinged out XL 15 nails, you need to start asking all your little 15-year-old cousins what the party situation is. When it's, 15 season, you need to like, get in contact maybe with some party planners, someone that you know that like decorates parties. You could say, oh, let me know.
Like if they need a nail tech or if they need their nails done.
Right, you're just putting yourself out there, posting on Facebook, hey, I do 15 nails specifically.
Right.
And that's something that you want to get into. Again, you need to promote that you want to do that, because at the end of the day, if that's niche that you want to be into, you kind of got to look for it also like a little bit.
Yeah.
Too.
And that goes back to our last episode. Get in your market, like get in your community, because that's where most of your support's gonna be. That's exactly where your target niche is gonna start. Because you can find a lot of people within your community that likes all types of different nails.
Yes.
And you can just pick and choose, okay, you like this, all right, I'll take you. You like this, I'll take you. And then market yourself so that they know that you're close by, because
like
proximity.
You want them to be thinking of you first,
right?
Of like this specific thing, whether it's like I said, like 15 nails or whatever the case may be, like special event, wedding, birthday, anniversary. You want to be that person that they think of like, okay, I need a really good nail job. Right. I'm gonna call her,
especially if it's for a special occasion.
Yes.
Like that the special occasion months are gonna be filled with clients, but you get the real special ones that want to do crazy exotic things, and then you could be like, oh yeah, I do 15 nails, or I do really great New Year's and Christmas nails, or 3D marble, stuff like that, encapsulation. So you have to make sure that you market yourself properly to be able to get what it is you want.
Yeah, definitely.
Because without that, you can't keep blaming that no one's seeing me, because you have to put in the work. Nothing's gonna come to you for free.
And I also feel like too, it might be easier said than done in some ways, because you might still feel like shy about it, like not super comfortable with like the social media aspect of everything, which is like totally understandable. Maybe you're not comfortable putting your face out there or whatever, but people are only gonna take you as seriously as you take yourself. So put yourself out there and like take the leap, because the worst thing that could happen is someone says no, or you feel embarrassed, and both of those things are going to go away. Yeah. So as the sooner I think that you kind of get comfortable in that, like the better you will be. There's no point in being scared, because I don't want to be like a too like harsh critic on it. Yeah. But sometimes you just gotta like literally take the leap. Like have faith in yourself and like be confident and like try to be positive. Because again, like I tell myself that so much. The worst someone can say is no. Yeah. The worst. And then guess what? The next person, they might say yes. Yeah. So
we've literally been through that like in the beginning, because we were like, okay, we need to get people's like, their thoughts and their stuff, and we were literally like, we need liquid courage before we go. Like, we need at the concert, like we was literally scared to walk up to people and be like, "Can we get you for a video?" Or when we went to the mall, we were like, "All right, we gotta." Stressed. We were yo.
But like honestly, like we were proud of ourselves because we just went and did it anyway. Like we were scared, wasn't really sure like if anyone was gonna even say yes, and people did. Some people said no, some people said yes. That was giving us a little bit of confidence to be like, okay, like we're doing it.
Right.
And you can't even be overly critical of like you being scared or nothing like that because we still went and did it. And I remember we were about to go up like the last floor and we literally said like we're gonna go up the next floor. We're gonna try to do like 2 more people and then we're gonna like bounce from this thing.
Weird.
But what was gonna be better, like what we were just gonna like give it up or like not do it, like you just gotta like
you gotta just put yourself up. Literally. Like just
like try.
Throw yourself down the escalator. Just do it.
Yeah.
Not literally, but just do it, you know? Nike. If you guys want to sponsor.
And obviously like for this industry and all types of like beauty industry things, there's like a lot of pressure on it because it is you at the end of the day and you feel it's like super personal to you.
And it's not like you're a face behind a big brand.
Yeah.
Like you're the brand.
Yeah.
So that's why it probably could also be, you know, scary.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Right. That's okay also.
Right.
But don't let that fear stop you. That's going on the shirt too.
Yeah. Shirt's coming soon. They're coming soon.
So hopefully those main 3 points that we talked about, finding your niche, client feedback, and
what's the second one?
What was the second one?
The second one, setting goals and making sure you meet them.
Those 3 main things, try to keep like in the front of your mind, not even in the back of your mind. Try to keep it in the front of your mind a lot while you're continuing to grow yourself, grow your business, grow your skills, because those at the end of the day are going to be things that are going to help you and only you can do, you know, achieve what you want to achieve. Exactly. Like no one's going to do it for you. And just like be confident in that. Right?
Yeah. So with that being said, that wraps up the 4th episode of the 2nd season of Behind the Brush podcast.
Yay! So per usual, all of our socials are going to be on the screen in the description box down below. And we can't wait to see you guys in the next one. And of course on all of our socials. Catch up on season 1 episodes and all of our 3 episodes from season 2 on our channel. Make sure to subscribe and smash that like button, please and thank you.
And happy Halloween and enjoy trick-or-treating.
Yes. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Paiton.
And this is Behind the Brush podcast.